Honorable Attorney General, Mr. Farak Alwari, fellow panelists, members of the Fourth Estate, especially invited guests, I respectfully crave your indulgence to place on record at this public consultation forum a statement I made some weeks ago before the Parliamentary Joint Select Committee on Finance and Legal Affairs. At that session, we were discussing the inordinate delay for trials at the criminal assizes and the attendant fallouts and resulting problems affecting the criminal justice system in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I stated then, and I repeat, that at this point in time, for many of our citizens, life in this country has become poor, nasty, brutish, and short. And our criminal justice system is about to collapse completely if the powers that be keep talking and talking and talking and doing nothing substantial to solve the problem. I made a point then, and I made it again at this forum. It is a national scandal to have approximately 700 persons in custody at a remand yard awaiting trial dates for 7 to 10 years on charges of murder when we boast of upholding the presumption of innocence and the rule of law. It is a national scandal. Everyone knows about the problems within our prisons, and all we are doing is talking and talking and talking, and nothing substantial has been done by the various governments of the day for the past 50 years. Whether it was PNM, NAR, or UNC partnership, and once again PNM, it's only talk and talk and talk. The Inspector of Prison 2012 report by Daniel Khan, Inspector of Prison, has documented all the problems within the prison and made a recommendation in an attempt to solve same. The UNC partnership government was well aware of this report, and the then government did little or nothing to solve these problems. The report was not laid in Parliament, it was kept secret. One senior government minister personally told me that they will attend to the prison problems after they win the 215 general elections, and that it was not good politics for the general public to become aware of the true realities within the prison walls of our nation. The Inspector of Prison 2012 report quoted Nelson Mandela, who emphatically stated, and I quote, "It is said that no one truly knows a nation until one has been inside its jails. A nation shall not be judged by how it treats its highest citizen, but its lowest ones." Close quotation. The Legal Aid and Advice Authority humbly makes the following recommendation, which will assist the criminal justice system in upholding the rule of law and the presumption of innocence. The first thing to do is to categorize murders into first, second, and third degree. This was touted many years ago, about 20 years ago, by the Prescott Commission. The powers that be know. Not every murderer deserves to die by hanging. Reserve first murder as a capital offense, second and third degree. Make these offenses bailable. Therefore, you will ease the remand yard. Conviction for second and third degree will attract a term of imprisonment. Introduce a workable plea bargaining process that let persons know who are charged for various offenses. If they plead guilty for a lesser offense, they will get a lesser sentence. Long sentencing is not serving this country. It's not serving this country. Establish a public defender's department And as an incidental, allocate sufficient resources to the DPP department. And I dare say we should abolish police prosecutors in the magistrate courts. A police should not be charging a citizen, and then when you go to court, there's a police prosecuting you. He would not be acting as a minister of justice then. Introduce a parole system. There's no parole system in Trinidad and Tobago until the commissioner of prison has the right to deduct a certain amount on good behavior. But make it by statute that if you have good behavior, you could appear before a committee, and maybe you could get back into society, and if you break the law, you go back in. No parole system in Trinidad. Introduce that immediately. Develop about 100 acres of land at Wallerfield Estate for a commune to rehabilitate convicted prisoners. Let them get themselves involved in doing useful things. It will be a commune. There will be a certain amount of freedom. Of course, they will have churches, mandir, and temples, and so on, and all these things. It's a commune. For a short period of time, certain people may prove that they can get back into society and be useful. Now, I am convinced, because over my 36 years of practice, there are certain people who are just criminals. You cannot do anything with them, but give them a fair trial, incarcerate them, and possibly execute them. Create a criminal division at the Court of Appeal and abolish appeals to the Privy Council. Endorse the CCJ as our final Court of Appeal. The work ethics for magistrates. A magistrate receives a very good salary. And I am told by some of the practitioners, when they go to certain courts, the magistrate comes in court at 10 o'clock, does not apologize to the lawyers, the prisoners, the public, like if they have a right to come to court around 10, 10:30. And at 1 o'clock, they're out of court. If this is really happening, something got to be done. Taxpayers couldn't be paying you all this sort of money, and you have no regard for work ethics. Do something about that. I am very short, but I would like to conclude with a quote from the Daily Express editorial of Thursday, the 31st of March, 2016, under the rubric Prioritizing Justice. The quotation is this, quote, "The intractable problem of delayed trial has been analyzed and dissected without any significant impact on the problem. From judges to prisoners to prosecutors, everyone agrees that the system is dysfunctional and requires urgent attention, yet the problem endures. It is time to bring all the interests around the table to hammer out an integrated action plan backed by the resources to make a difference." And I commend the Attorney General for this session. It is time we bring everybody together, but put resources. In other words, put your money where your mouth is. Stop talking. Put the resources there. But the resources don't go into prison because they do not have vote in prisons. I have a solution for that. The prison is located in Aruka. Allow the prisoners to vote. Aruka is a marginal seat or two marginal seats. And every government of the day may then attend to the prisoners. It is time to bring all the interests around the table to hammer out an integrated action plan backed by the resources to make a difference. Given the integral role that the justice system plays in the safety and security of all its citizens, it is critical and meaningful investment be made in addressing these problems of staff and equipment shortages and eliminating the blockages that stymies the system. And they ended up by saying, in reviewing his budget next week, Finance Minister Colin Member should recognize justice as a national expenditure priority. We should recognize that. Now, the preamble to our Constitution states inter alia that the people of Trinidad and Tobago Recognize that the men and institutions remain free only when freedom is founded upon respect for moral and spiritual values and the rule of law. The rule of law is that every accused person is presumed to be innocent, and the onus is upon the prosecution to establish his guilt. You know what it is to lock up a man on an allegation of murder for 10 years without a date for trial? It's a scandal. It is a scandalous state of affairs to have 700 citizens in the nation prison on murder charges, and they must wait for 10 years to get a trial. It is an assault on the presumption of innocence. It is shame on a nation which cannot protect its women and children and its citizens from fear of being murdered. Shame on a nation which allows a prison to be a hellhole. I want to thank you, and I want to make an observation, which I don't think I should make, but I'll make it nonetheless. From slavery to now, the system has not changed in this country. It has not changed. And you know how you know that? From slavery to indentured for now, we only have new slave masters. Just look into the prison and see who you see there. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is as forthright as you can get. And I wish to thank Mr. Khan, not only for his contribution today, but for his continued service to Trinidad and Tobago, for the very little that is ever paid in the capacity that he serves in the Legal Aid and Advice Authority. Thank you very much, Mr. Khan. Permit me just to say very quickly that the prioritization of the dollar spend is one of the reasons why we're here, and why I have taken the particular lens and focus that I have in putting a platform of what it costs. Because I don't want you to mistake it that I'm concerned only about the dollars and not the lives, but I'm drawing it in the real context of the position that I now stand in, and that is as one of the administrators of the money that Trinidad and Tobago has in the hands of any one government. So permit me just to put that into context. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to please welcome to the podium next to speak, dancing the issues around between institution and otherwise, Mr. Seron Richards. He is the president of the Prisons Officers Association. You know him well. He has been a prisons officer for the past 23 years, 10 years in representing prisons officers at various levels. He's graduated from the University of Greenwich, England, and he also holds a Bachelor in Human Resource Management. He and I have had some significant discussions, as with Gordon, talking about many of the elephants that have been painted and we now hold on parade. So can you please invite Mr. Richards to the podium for his contribution?